Good evening. This is the January 18th, 2023 Lakeville Finance Committee meeting. We are remote this evening, so in accordance with the provisions allowed by Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, the January 18th, 2023 public meeting of the Lakeville Finance Committee will be held remotely. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Lakeville, so you do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. They can be viewed by anybody. The meeting will be recorded and made available later date at lakecam.tv. So I'll call attendance. So tonight we have myself, Brian Day, and we have member Constant.
Present.
And member Plonka.
Present.
3 of the 5 members here. We do have quorum. Members DeRosa and members Lynch fortunately were not able to join us this evening. Relatively small agenda this evening. I did put together a few just kind of announcements to read through. Some of it's new stuff just to make sure that you're aware of. Some of it's just updates on old stuff. I'll go through those quickly, and then we'll go through the one primary item for this evening. So just a few minutes before we met this evening, I did receive a report on the first half of fiscal year 23 for the town. According to town accountant Hassett, things are looking good performance-wise. They've got a couple of small items that they're tracking a little more closely, but nothing too out of whack. So feel free to review that at your convenience. If you've got any specific questions, by all means, reach out to accountant Hassett or Administrator Sky. They're always very good about getting back to us with any questions you might have. Or if you want to bring anything specific up at a future meeting, just let me know. We'll throw it on the agenda to talk about. Related to that, preliminary FY24, yes, it's that season already. Budget presentation will be had from Town Administrator Sky to the Select Board tentatively on February 13th. We don't know yet if it's going to be a joint meeting between the Select Board or us. So if you want, if possible, maybe hold that evening free for now if you can. And we'll get you guys up to date if we are going to be asked to join, or if we just want to watch and comment at our own meeting afterwards. Following on to that, Town Administrator Sky did let me know that they're tentatively going to be holding the more in-depth budget meetings with the department heads on March 6th, March 8th, and March 16th. So those are the ones where we go through the budget line by line with all department heads, look at any major increases, ask any questions we want, make recommendations. Those usually are 2 to 3 hours per evening. So bring comfortable clothing.
Excuse me, Brian, could you repeat the dates, please?
Yes, so the preliminary meeting just from Ari to the Select Board is February 13th. And then the department head meetings that we'll be asked to attend are March 6th, 8th, and then skip a week, March 16th. So 3 meetings in total for those.
I believe I am away on vacation one of those.
Okay.
Not that I'm going to hold a budget because I'm away, but is it gonna, I mean, I'd like to think I'm that important, but no. Yeah, March, yeah, I'm away on the 6th.
Okay.
I'm back on the 7th, so I can be at the 8th. Is it going to be live or is it going to be Zoom?
They're usually live, but we can ask if there's anybody that's going to be participating remotely anyways. It'll definitely be streamed. So if you want to watch from whatever.
I just meant participation wise.
Okay.
I probably should check with my wife before I decide to do a finance committee meeting while we're on vacation. That may not be a good idea, but the other 2 I'll be fine with. All right. Perfect.
Cool. And if anything comes up, by all means, we can certainly do another meeting if there's anything in specific you want to talk about, or you could reach out to the department heads directly too. There's nothing wrong with that.
I usually check with some of them anyhow once we see their proposals. Okay.
Perfect.
Brian, those meetings will start generally at 6.
Usually around that time, yeah.
Okay.
I think I've seen a 5:30 here or there, but generally 6:30 is safe to say.
Okay. I got
They
it on
go
my calendar.
forever.
Yeah, they do. And that's because I tend to ask too many darn questions. So.
It's really not you. It's really not. It's the unpreparedness that drives me nuts.
All right. Next one. So just this morning, I learned that there's also going to be a feasibility study created by the Select Board for an upcoming addition project for the Council on Aging building that is looking to be done. So Select Board has not yet created a committee charge for that. They will in the next couple of weeks. But we have been asked to put somebody from FinCom on that committee as well. So once we get the charge from the select board, I'll send that over. We can have another quick meeting to discuss that and see if anybody's got any interest.
Okay.
Superintendent Director Polanski of Old Colony Regional Vocational High School. He's going to be holding a meeting on February 6th, I believe it is, with the chairs from the member town select boards, finance committees, and town administrators. Chris, this is going to kind of be repeat information from what you've already heard, but he's just getting them more up to date on the feasibility study that they're looking to do for a possible renovation or new construction, along with the MSBA, the Mass School Building Authority. So first step is they need to get approval from MSBA to even have a feasibility study done. Second step is obviously the member towns have to pay for it. So he'll be giving us more information on that, which we will turn right around and share with everybody here. I'd asked some questions. The initial, just real ballpark, not final by any means, number was Lakeville might be looking at around 138,000 to participate in that study. That would be our share. That's not a final number by any means. The membership contract, they do a cost sharing formula that is based on a few different variables, two being the number of students enrolled per member town, as well as the number of school age students in each member town. And that number was only based on one of the variables. So they've still got to get some data on school age children to get us a more concrete number. But whatever we learn at that meeting, we'll come back and have a further discussion on that and bring everybody up to speed.
I'm sorry, you said vote, is that for the VOTEC?
Yes, sir. Last but not least, I'm sure everybody's been hearing this lately, annual town elections, Monday, April 3rd. Call the town clerk's office at 508-946-8800 if you'd like to make an appointment to request nomination papers for one of the 14 positions available. One of those is a 3-year position for the finance committee. So if you're interested in hopping on here and chatting with us, there is a 3-year position that will become available. Deadline.
What slot, Brian? Whose term is expiring?
Adam's term expires this time around.
Okay.
So deadline to obtain papers, Thursday, February 9th. Deadline to return papers, Monday, February 13th. You need, I believe, 50 or so signatures from registered town voters on papers to be able to get on the ballot. Last day to register to vote is Friday, March 24th. That's for the April 3rd election. So that's all I had announcement wise. If there's any other questions on those, let me know. Otherwise, we can get on to agenda item 2. Moving on. So select board is also putting together a fire station building committee. I did send the charge over to everybody so you could take a look at it if you wanted to. It is going to be made up of members from the select board. It's 9-member committee. Members from the select board, finance committee, building commissioner, town administrator, fire chief, and I think a couple of at-large members as well that the select board is taking applications from. In summary, the building committee is going to be working with the project manager, project architect, general contractor for the lifetime of the project through planning, construction, going through change order considerations, ensuring that the occupation goes smoothly once the fire station, once the fire department moves to whatever new facility we might come up with is. So it's a relatively lengthy commitment. I did know in advance that members Lynch and DeRocha couldn't make it tonight, so I reached out individually to them and asked if either of them had interest. Member DeRocha said that she would have interest in participating. And again, we've got this and we've got the Council on Aging building coming up as well. So we've got 2 projects that have needs for a couple of finance committee members that we can share the load. So does anybody here have interest in participating as well?
I think I emailed you back. I'd be interested in being on the fire station building committee.
You've got interest in that, Larry?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't say for sure the police station one, which is a very similar project, did go on for a few years. I think they just finally wrapped that up. There was some punch list items that they cleaned up. I don't personally have interest in this one right now. Time-wise, it just makes sense for me to ask if anybody else does. So, Chris, do you have any thoughts?
I wouldn't mind doing it, but since Larry has already volunteered, I'm fine with that. Maybe I could do the SCOA.
Okay. Yeah, so once we get the charge for the COA, we'll come back and talk about that one. Larry, if you had to deal with any of these similar projects in the past, I suspect yes, from your work
Well,
history.
I've never worked on a building committee. Obviously I'm in insurance, so I deal with a lot of, building, finance, and costs and relate, and building code and so forth.
Okay.
Sitting on this committee, it's more, I think, more just making sure the project's on point and making sure everything, the architects and the project managers are all on the same page and the building's being built per spec, and
Yes.
controlling cost overruns and time, wasted time.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's pretty much the overall charge of it. I'm sure it's more in depth than that.
No, I
But
think you've hit it on the head for sure.
so yeah, I have some experience in it. Have I ever sat on a committee like this before? No.
That's okay.
But my knowledge of it and my knowledge of municipal equipment and so forth, based on my experience in the municipal damage appraisal stuff, I have some knowledge of that stuff, costs and associated with it. So.
Okay. I mean, that's perfectly fine with me. I know member DeRoche is not here to speak for herself, but again, we've got the other position as well that's coming up, so we can have that discussion at the time. I do think your background dealing with some of these things and costs and such is certainly going to be helpful. I mean, if anybody wants to make a motion to nominate Larry to Fire Station Building Committee, I'll entertain that.
I'll make a motion to nominate Larry for the fire station representative for the fire station building committee.
Okay, I'll step down and second that, so you don't have to yourself, Larry. I've got a motion on the floor, so we'll take a roll call vote. And I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I apologize. We have a new recording secretary taking minutes for us. So just so they know faces to voices. So this is Brian Day speaking. And then we'll do a roll call vote. So we'll do Member Plonka,
Plonka, aye.
Day, aye. Constant. Well, I'm glad you're an eye on that one then. So,
I almost was going to say Dave, but I figured why
right.
throw a wrench into the works?
Thanks, Larry.
So unanimous vote, 3 members present. We will nominate Larry to be on the Fire Station Building Committee as a representative for the Finance Committee. So thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. That certainly would be a very in-depth endeavor. So thank you for taking that on. I didn't have any other agenda items for tonight. As you saw from the announcements earlier, we probably do have a couple other things to talk about coming up, especially when we have our full set of board members here. But if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for the evening.
Second.
All right.
Make a motion to it.
So
We have a motion or second?
We got both
Brian
now.
made the motion.
Oh, Brian made the motion. Okay. Yes.
All right. Member Plonka.
Aye.
Member
Plonka, aye.
Constant. Member Day, aye. So the Finance Committee meeting on January 18th is adjourned as of 5:16 p.m. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Talk soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.